In the basal metazoans, we will be discussing about the porifera. Porifera comes from the two words pori, that means the pores, and the fera mean to bear. So the organisms which are containing the pores on their surface are called poriferans. The Dr. Robert Grant, who was a contemporary or maybe senior to the Charles Darwin and one time his patron, he said that porifera is unique group in its own right. So earlier, the porifera, as you can see, that the porifera are the organisms which are containing the more and more sessile structures, and they are attached to the bottom of the sea. So they look like plants. If one observed these poriferans, these were sessile and these were benthing, just like other plants or the algae in the bottom of the sea, they would, considered as the plant. But late 1700, it was established that these are not the plants, these are the animals. And these were put with the other organisms, just like cnidarians. But ultimately, Dr. Robert Grant was the one who said that the porifera is a unique group in its own right. They have the unique porous structure and cellular body plan, and they lack the true tissues. The true tissues, that means the tissues which are not, the cells are there. The cells make an arrangement, but that arrangement does not qualify to be a tissue. The poriferans mostly lack symmetry, and they are having the true lack symmetry and the true differentiated structures. That means neither there is any symmetry there. One porifera grows just like, if you see a plant, is there any symmetry in there? Of course there is not. The branch may be coming from here to here, or if any random plant if you take, there might be not any symmetry except some maybe palms, maybe an oak plant, right? So in the oak you cannot see any symmetry. The same is the case with the poriferans. They do not have any particular symmetry in their growth, and they do not have any true differentiated tissues and organs. Although their cells, like those of the protist, can switch functions. So some of the cells can switch functions. That means they can go from doing one work to another work. So switching function is sort of, there is division of labor a little bit, and also they are differentiated a little bit of it, as in a way that they are doing one work and not doing another. But they are not truly differentiated because they are able to switch one work to another. So here you can see the basic sponge morphology. There is the ostium and osculum. These are the ostium are the smaller pores from which the water is taken in, and the osculum is from the water is going out. On the side you can see the bird. A bird is responsible for the reproduction. So bird, at some point it will be removed and it can grow its own organism after coming off. And there is the spongoceles. Spongoceles is the inner cavity of the sponge. And then there is the canal. Canal, it is relating or connecting the outer environment of the sponge to the inner spongocele. And the root tuft through which it is attaching to the hard surfaces beneath in the bottom of the sea. So this is the basic sponge morphology. The sponges are skeletal organisms. That means they are containing skeletons. And the skeletons are composed of a colloidal jelly or a spongin. So we have seen that these organisms are very, very simple, and they have their skeleton in a way that they can have some supportive structure. And in this case, there is a colloidal jelly which is present in their bodies, and that is called spongin. So the sponges have some chamber organization. We have identified some organization in different species, and they have the three levels. One are the ascons. Ascons are the sacs with a single chamber lined by the flagellate cell. So there is a single chamber, one osculum, a lot of ostia, and the water is going down and coming out by the only one osculum. And it is a simple one sac, and that is called the ascon. The next level of organization is cycon. A cycon is a number of simple chambers with a single central paragaster. So what does the paragaster mean? Gaster is normally word for the stomach. So paragaster means this is not a true stomach, but this is where all the digestion of takes place, or where does the body takes its nutrients, because ostia take the water currents in, and all the food particles, they are gathered in the paragaster. And a number of simple chambers, they are with the central paragaster. So one paragaster and a lot of S-cone like sacs, they are around the cycon. So in the third and final is the leucon. Leucon is the most common, where a series of cycon chambers access a large central paragaster. So again, there is one, then there is the cycon, and cycon contains the leucon. So that means the branching is much more, and it is much more extensive system of organization, the leucon. Here you can see the stratigraphic distribution of reef building sponges and related parazoans. From the Cambrian to the Cenozoic era, there was the different times when there were the different reef building sponges have lived. So for example, the Cetatides were present during the Carboniferous, Jurassic and Cretaceous period. So wherever it is more, you can see there the width of the graph is increasing. So the parazoans, Nidarian, and there were some time period during which the reef building organism or major reef building processes have been taking place during all these geological time periods, and there you can see it. So there are some times which are aclonal, which are not making any colonies, and they are called solitary because they are singular. The cloner, they are coming together with the other organisms and they are making the colonies. And then there is the degree of integration. That means they are coming in contact with the other organism, and with the help of those, they are making the reefs. So the next group inside the porifera is the Stromatoporidae, common in the fossil record from the Ordovician through the Devonian period. So these are the organisms which were common during the Ordovician and Devonian period, and in the fossil record of these organisms we can find those. They are especially abundant in Silurian and Devonian period. And these invertebrates were important reef farmers throughout the Paleozoic and late Mesozoic era. And then there comes the Archaeocyathata. Archaeocyathata are called, archaeo means the ancient and cyatha means the cup. So Archaeocyathata are the organisms which were having the cup-like structures. These are one of the only few major animal groups that are entirely extinct. So that means they are not anymore inside the surface of the earth. So the reef building organisms, and they were marine organisms of warm tropical and subtropical waters. Tropical means they were near to the equator, and subtropical, that means a bit away from the tropics. And the Archaeocyathata lived during the early Cambrian period. So that means the early Cambrian period, the Archaeocyaths were living there, and these were the early group of poriferas which were making the reef structures. And it is believed that the center of Archaeocyathata origin are now located in the East Siberia. The Siberia is a region in the Russia where there is a lot of, because it is a far away and desolated area, and there are a lot of fossil remains that could be found there. And one of those fossil can be Archaeocyath fossil can be found in the eastern Siberia as well.